Hello guys, welcome back to the Oddspedia channel. Today we are gonna talk about basketball, about the NBA. The best league in the world is back on the 13th of July. NBA is resuming. That's why we are gonna talk with Alvaro Quiros, an expert about basketball, to find out which are the favorites in the competition. We are gonna give you some predictions about the NBA, some tips about betting on the NBA 2020. Let's go for it!
Hi, Edu. Everyone, how are you?
So really excited, I guess, because the NBA is starting again on the 13th of July. It's going to be a quite an experience, I would say. All the games are going to be played in Disney World Resort in Florida. There are going to be less teams, 22 out of the 30 of the competition. And if you remember, well, I'm sure you do, all the competition was suspended on the 12th of March because of the positive of Rudy Gobert. Can you explain us a little bit, Alvaro, how was the competition by then, in case the viewers forgot?
Mm-hmm. Well, as probably our readers and probably NBA fans know, the NBA was suspended after the COVID-19 issue. With Rudy Gobert being one of the first players to get this disease, who is affecting around the world. So the NBA automatically decided to suspend all the NBA games till the next announcement. This announcement came 1 month ago, saying it's going to be in the Disney World Resort in Florida, as known as probably everybody knows as the Bubble. So it's like a special place where nobody out of the NBA is allowed to go. So it's going to resume this Friday, this 30th of July. So 22 teams were selected by the NBA, especially 13 teams from Western Conference and 9 from Eastern Conference will play in these 3 venues in the bubble. All of them will play 8 games per team, looking forward to get the last spots for the playoffs. The NBA selected these teams because all of them are played for something. I mean, there are a lot of spots for the playoffs, 2 in the Western Conference, 2 in the Eastern Conference. So the teams who are these chances to get the playoffs are in the bubble. So at the moment, as I said, only 2 spots for the playoffs in each conference. So it's going to be a real drama for those teams who are going to be out of the playoffs. Obviously, we leave the competition on March with the Milwaukee Bucks and Los Angeles Lakers in the top of their conference. It will be curious, this fight, because the 2 contenders to the MVP of the season, Giannis Antetokounmpo and LeBron James, will be obviously looking for the ring, especially the case of the Los Angeles Lakers, who came back, who will be back in the playoffs after a lot of years. And obviously, for them, this season is going to be special after the loss of Kobe Bryant many months ago.
Yeah, we were all shocked by the loss of Kobe Bryant. And now how's going to be the format? Can you sum up the new rules, who's going to qualify for the playoffs, because some things have changed?
Exactly. As I explained, the 22 teams selected by the NBA will play a small regular season. All of them will play 8 games as the resume of the regular season before to get into the playoffs. The playoffs will be a special case because even the 9th position of each conference, we have the possibility to get the playoffs. In this case, the 8th and the 9th positions on this conference will play some games in case the difference between them will be 4 or less games of difference. It will be like the NBA call a playing challenge. The 9th position of the conference will need to win 2 games in a row to the 8th position team. Meanwhile, the 8th position only will need 1 game to reach the final spot into the playoffs and to play against the first position, the first seed in this playoff in each conference. These playoffs is gonna take last till the 13th of October, when it's supposed to be the 7th game of the final. These playoffs is gonna be as usual at the best of the 7 games per round.
Okay, and how are the safety protocols? We've seen in the European football, everything have changed. Of course, they are playing behind closed doors. They are doing regular tests to the journalists, to the players. In the NBA, only 5% actually tested positive. So how is the NBA organizing all this new reality?
Well, the NBA established the really special and safety protocols for the COVID-19 issue. As I said, is all the facility now on Disney World Resort in Florida is now as the bubble. So if you want to go inside or you want to go out and come back into the bubble, is really strict. So now we know this in the past hours that Zion Williamson, probably one of the former number 1 pick in the draft in 2019, he went out of the bubble and then he came back into the bubble with the New Orleans Pelicans. So he wanted to go back. So the protocol has established they need to be under quarantine for some days and then pass 2 positive COVID-19 tests before go back into the action with their team. All the players who has been in the same situation, who went out of the bubble and came back into them with their teams, has to have this protocol. Also, all the coaches, trainers, and other workers around the NBA has the same issue. Different cases. I'm reminded now the cases of some players who signed for Brooklyn Nets, especially one of another former number 1 of the draft, Michael Beasley, who signed for Brooklyn Nets and then get positive into COVID-19 issue. So they finally left the team. So he's not going to be there for Brooklyn Nets, who is one of the most affected teams by COVID-19 in the last weeks.
Well, let's hope we don't see in the upcoming weeks more positive and the competition can go back to normal. Because instead of talking about the past, let's talk a little bit about the future. I'm sure you haven't slept in the last days a lot watching the friendly games, and now we have the competition coming back. So how do you think this new reality is going to affect the teams? Do you see any changes in the competition because of that?
Well, I was reminded yesterday when I was checking the NBA data for today, and something came to my mind. There were a motto and a slogan from the NBA a couple of years ago who said, "Where amazing happens." So probably this NBA season is going to be amazing because everything can happen. I mean, all the teams are playing, as you said, in small preseasons with a scrimmage between all of them in the bubble nowadays. So from this Friday, it's going to be completely different. It won't be local or away teams. It won't be attendance into the stadium. So all the teams will be ready to play in a different situation, because this nobody will play as local and visitor. So probably this will be a special situation, and everything can happen now. As I was thinking, the Raiders and the fans of the NBA will watch these games as if they were in the let's say, kind on the streets, they can be allowed to listen the players scream, how they protest to the referees, how the coach scream to the players. So it will be more closer to the pitch than ever. So it's going to be completely different. Probably we will see a lot of surprises into the playoffs.
Yeah, we saw already in the European football, and the action is quite exciting, I would say. It's different for the fans, seeing how the players shout at each other. And we saw, I guess, even less surprises, no? Because without the away difference, you don't have to play against also the supporters of the team. It makes easier, I would say, sometimes for the strongest team to play. Do you think that might happen also in the NBA?
Yeah, it might happen. It might happen. I mean, it might happen that, I was following also the ACB in Spain. So we saw even Barcelona or Real Madrid, they didn't get the title. So it was an out contender as Baskonia who lifted finally the trophy. So who knows if some teams who qualify in the middle of the seat of the playoffs can get this ring and the title at the end of the playoffs.
And talking about the ring, we can check now the odds for the winner of the NBA. We are all, I guess, looking forward to placing our bets on the winner of the ring. We have Milwaukee Bucks as the great favorite with odds 3.4, but Lakers are also in the race, 3.6. We have Clippers 4.0. And then all the others are quite far away from these teams. We have Houston Rockets, Boston Celtics, Toronto Raptors. Do you think that clear that these are the three favorites? Would you see an underdog going and fighting for the ring?
Well, as we saw, all the odds are quite far apart of Milwaukee Bucks, Los Angeles Lakers, and Los Angeles Clippers. But obviously, we can't forget about the beard. We can't forget about James Harden and Russell Westbrook from Houston Rockets. They will be a real contender for these playoffs. I mean, James Harden and Russell Westbrook came later, part of the Houston Rockets as the other team to the bubble. But for sure, I'm pretty sure that James Harden knows that this is a real chance for him and for the Rockets to lift the trophy again after the two consecutive titles from the mid-90s. So a part of that, obviously, the reigning champions, the Toronto Raptors, is with a high odds to repeat the title. But obviously, we saw some of the players of the Toronto Raptors coming back in a strong form to the training camp here in the bubble. So let's see if the Nick Nurse team can repeat and can get the ring and the trophy to the North again. So I think these two, Houston Rockets and Toronto Raptors, could be two good underdogs in case you want to place your money there to lift the trophy.
So you could back them if you have to put your money on the table?
Sure, definitely. Obviously, if there is people with the head in their hand, for sure, Los Angeles Lakers is going to be good as well. I mean,
it will be the perfect season also after all happened with Kobe Bryant.
Exactly, it's with the perfect ending for the perfect end for this season with the Los Angeles Lakers big in the top again of the NBA as champion with the ring, and LeBron lifting the trophy and probably dedicated to Kobe. So it's going to be a perfect end from the NBA.
And well, we can place our bets already for the winner of the NBA. We can also bet on the conference winner. You were talking about Los Angeles Lakers. And in the Western Conference, actually, is the LA teams the real favorites. Both Clippers and Lakers are really strong, and the bookies actually is like they are the only favorites. The other teams have really high odds. Do you think This is also going to happen. It's going to stay there. It's still far away until the final of conference. But would you back them as well?
It's gonna be. I mean, Los Angeles Lakers are gonna be for sure. Has been much better than the Los Angeles Clippers during the regular season before the season stopped at the middle of March because of the COVID-19. But obviously, we can't forget the Denver Nuggets. Denver Nuggets with Nikola Jokic, surprise they have nowadays. As I saw the scrimmage, is everybody is surprising with Bol, the son of the former star Manute Bol, who is also playing really good, and it's gonna be for sure a surprise for them. So I think those three teams, Lakers, Clippers, and Nuggets, they are going to be the contenders to get the first. To be the Eastern Conference champions at the end of the semifinal of the playoffs or the final conference of the playoffs. So one of those three, I think they can reach. Also with the Houston Rockets, don't forget that, because now is they get the last spot, the sixth spot of the playoffs in the Western Conference. These four teams, let's say, they can reach the final of the NBA.
And talking about the other conference, of course, let's travel to the Eastern Coast. Here, we already spoke as for Milwaukee Bucks that they are really the favorites, but you mentioned Toronto Raptors, of course, they are the title holders. Who else do you see that they can get into the NBA Finals and win the Eastern Conference?
Well, in this case, I would close bid the option 2-3 between Milwaukee Bucks, Toronto Raptors, and Boston Celtics. Obviously, I think Boston Celtics has not the power to lift the NBA trophy at the end of the season, but I think they can be inside the contenders to reach the final. It should be a surprise for sure. But if you want to put your money, you want to bet a surprise, Toronto Raptors, Boston Celtics could be an option. If you want a short option, a short bet, it's going to be Milwaukee Bucks for sure. As Milwaukee Bucks, obviously, with Giannis Antetokounmpo, who probably will be the MVP of the season, I think they will want to get the chance of lift the trophy, who lost last year, especially against the Raptors.
So finally, you mentioned already the Raptors. I would like to ask you about your opinion of about the title holders. We saw them for the first time winning the NBA. They have odds is 20.0 for them to win the NBA. Would you give them also a chance to get back-to-back titles and hold again the trophy?
Well, knowing the NBA, I know Toronto Raptors lost Kawhi Leonard, who is now on Los Angeles Clippers from the last year. They also lost some players from the bench. But as I know those kind of teams, as Toronto Raptors, I think they have possibilities. As I know how Nick Nurse is dealing with the season. I mean, it reminds me, is the NBA fans are also basketball fans around the world. They probably know how the Spanish national team plays in the World Cups or in the European Cups during the last weeks. They start the tournaments in a slow moto, so in a slow form, or they look like they are not playing really well, but at the end, always reach the final. And sometimes they win the title, like it happened in China the last year. So who knows? Toronto Raptors has a good state of form for sure. They are playing a really effective basketball during the season. Obviously, it's not the Milwaukee Bucks because the Milwaukee Bucks has more powerful. The difference in the numbers are there in the standings. But obviously, I wouldn't say Toronto Raptors is out of the fight for the title. I think they are one of the 4 or 5 contenders to lift the trophy again.
Perfect. So, well, thank you for your advice. We will take in consideration to place our bets either on the Rockets, on the Raptors, and make some money out of this NBA season, who is gonna start very soon on the 30th of July. All basketball fans, I'm sure they will be, or we will be very happy to see again the NBA, the best league of the world, in action. Alvaro, thank you very much. I'm sure we will talk again about basketball.
Thank you, Edu, for the opportunity, and enjoy the NBA restart season. Hopefully, we'll see you again.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
So now you have more information to bet on the NBA 2020. Who are you gonna back? Houston Rockets, Milwaukee Bucks, maybe the Los Angeles Clippers? Well, it's up to you, but please let me know who are you backing here in the comments, and we will be back very soon. Do not forget to click the subscribe button and the like if you really enjoyed this video. See you soon!